My name is Jenny. I'm the director for Venture for ClimateTech. About us, we are a nonprofit accelerator, which is quite different. So what we do, and what that means is that we actually give non-dilutive grants. We do not take any equity in your company. What we do is we support a diverse set of founders with our community of investors, mentors, and technical experts to really help catalyze new climate tech solutions. The program is 6 months long. It's completely virtual, so you can be anywhere in the world. It is a little bit earmarked on the side of East Coast time, so kind of consider that, although we do accommodate West Coast time as well. We've moved things a little later in the day to be able to do that. This year, we are taking 10 pre-seed and seed stage companies into our cohort, and we are giving up to $50,000 in the non-dilutive grant. We are funded by NYSERDA, and we are run by NextCorps, which is an umbrella company that has many different accelerators as part of it, which includes Venture for ClimateTech, and is based out of Rochester, New York. So some accomplishments to date, we have had 5 cohorts so far, so we're looking for our 6th. 78 startups have graduated in those cohorts. During the program, we have seen an average of 2x of team size, so that we think that this is a really great metric of actual growth within the team. $172 million raised within the 8 teams, with 95 of that in private institutions. So the difference between those two would be non-dilutive grants from other places such as Breakthrough Energy or your SBIRs, Activate, NSF, Department of Energy, ARPA-E. All of our companies have had some connections to these in terms of the numbers that you see here today. So on the team, I'm here, Jenny Leung as a director. You will see that we have managing director Jack Barron, who has had a lot of success in the climate space himself. He sold his company for $2 billion. So he kind of leads our team and is available for coaching for each and every single one of our startups as they go through the program. We've got Devin and Scott on the line today. Devin is our director of ops. Scott is our program manager. Daniel is not on the call, but he is our director of investments. So we do a lot actually in supporting the investment side and investor readiness for you. Chris is here on the call. He's our marketing community relationships manager. And we have a great EIR, Sharon Shamsing, who is also actually on our board now. So if you take a look at this, I'm not going to go through everybody here, but if you get this deck later on, each of these blue names actually links out to their LinkedIn. So you'll see some names here from Clean Energy Ventures, Earthshot Ventures, Breakthrough Energy, etc. So feel free to take a look at that. They are involved in the program as well. Now, the key sectors that we are looking for, and because we are funded by NYSERDA, they are NYSERDA and New York State centric. So buildings, transportation, grid, energy, and industry are the 4 topics that we're looking at because these are the highest emitting ones for New York State. So I'm not going to go through every example here, but you can see what types of solutions can be within each of these sectors. So I'll just give you 10 seconds to take a quick look at this before I move on. All right. So I'm next going to go into the program details. The program itself for Venture for ClimateTech at a glance, you'll see a couple of sections here. So I'll start off with the beginning. We've launched our application, so that's the beginning part here under recruiting. So we're looking for these amazing pre-seed and seed stage companies. Then we're going to go into down selection. So we'll review the applications, and then we're going to down select to 20 companies that will go into what we call a boot camp. And I'll have 2 slides about that later on, so we'll go into more detail. That will be in April. And then from there, once we pick the cohort, we'll start the program on 5/11. And phase 1 is kind of the meat and potatoes of the program. There's a lot of support in just your business in it itself, really breaking it down to the basics and helping you build it back up if we need to, or if you need to. Lots of mentoring, lots of coaching, and lots of curriculum that really helps set you up for success. There is a 1-week break at the end of phase 1, and then we start again in phase 2 on 8/3. And in this phase two, we are really focusing on investor readiness, helping you build and gain as much traction as possible so that when we do the showcase in November, it will be during the week of Climate Week and in real life, actually, out in New York, where you showcase in front of hundreds of investors from our community. From there, we do a phase three, so we don't just kind of drop off the face of the earth. You will have investor support and program ramp down support. We still do one-on-ones with our co whenever they actually ask for support. So on top of the 10 teams here, we are also supporting some of our alumni here from time to time as they need it. So we never really leave you, which is a helpful thing for a lot of our companies. Now, program highlights, again, it's a 6-month virtual program. It's quite high touch, and again, it's split into 3 phases. We do give up to $50,000 in non-dilutive funding throughout the program, which we will talk about in detail in the next couple of slides. We recruit globally, but with a New York State lens, which means if the technology has applicability in New York, then it is applicable and something we're looking for. Really, I think the only thing that doesn't really qualify for us is you have a tropical weather storm, solution. Pre-seed seed-stage companies are ideal with our TRL sweet spot between 2 and 7. If you're unfamiliar with TRLs, just do a quick Google on that and put NASA in it. It is a technology readiness level that NASA has put together to help us and everybody kind of in the space understand what level you are in terms of that readiness. So take a look through that if you are unfamiliar. A co-founder is not required. Solo founders are very welcome, and we accommodate that as much as we can throughout the program, even though it is high touch, but we accommodate as much as we can. So please don't feel like you need a co-founder for this. And if you are looking for co-founders, we also help with that search. Founders, at the very least, need to have some sort of LLC to receive the grant checks. So you don't have to be incorporated right now, but by the time the program starts, you do have to be incorporated in order to receive money from us. It is a part-time commitment. We say 7 to 12 hours per week. And I want to reemphasize this 7 to 12 hours a week. So whether you want to divide and conquer this with your teammates or just revamping your schedule to be able to fit in 7 to 12 hours, we understand you're also running a business, but it is very intentional how we set the curriculum together and all the program and resources that we give to you. So we do ask that you really take note that this is going to be a 7 to 12 hour commitment per week. Now, high level within the 3 phases in and of itself. So phase one, again, mid-May when we start the program to end of July before the 1 week break. The intensity here is quite high. It trickles down as we get closer to the end, but intensity high, 10 companies here are awarded $5,000 in that non-dilutive grant right off the bat at the beginning of the program. The curriculum itself is focused on customer discovery, go-to-market plans, GHG impact analysis, IP strategy, for example. There is actually many more. But these are some examples of what we provide in the first curriculum sessions. They're not necessarily run by us. We have a great group of speakers and experts in these fields that also helps you expand your network as you go forward in building your business. We will also run mentor meetings and mentor matching processes. So on top of just getting everybody here that supports you, you also get another village of folks that can support you in whatever way you want, whether it is deeply technical or more general. There are folks that are ready and willing to help. Now, up to 10 companies will be approved to pitch at the market opportunity pitch, which is with judges. So this is kind of your gate to the second phase. You will pitch to them and kind of showcase what you're working through. This is a really great practice for those who are pitching, and especially for our showcase at the end of the program, so that you are getting ready, and judges are normally investors. And so you really get a good set of feedback on what they're thinking about when they're looking at your business before you really get out in the real world. So this, again, is actually required to advance to phase two. It is our gate. And as we go into phase two, this will be early August to late September. Intensity here is moderate, so less than before. Here, 10 companies who have finished the MOP will get $7,500 non-dilutive grant, and then continued curriculum now, including fundraising, sales, investor readiness. And then at the end of this phase, we will do our showcase in real life at New York Climate Week. So again, on stage in front of hundreds of investors and well, and ecosystem partners and customers potentially as well. So I don't want to index too hard on the investor side. Now, phase three is low intensity. It is kind of our ramp down period for you. We help you wherever you need. Here, up to 10 companies will get $7,500 after they complete that showcase. So you'll get the check in phase three. Post-program and graduation support. So again, continued investment or fundraising, continued mentoring. Two companies here will be awarded an extra $25,000 in these grants for project pilot proposal that really achieve critical milestones for their companies. And so there will be a process in addressing that and reviewing what that might look like. And those two companies will be able to move forward with that $25,000 grant. And then the last thing that is required within kind of phase three of the program is in November, these companies will all be requested slash we'd like to say required to complete a final risk assessment. It is called the ARL assessment, which is new to us last year, and it has been really helpful for companies to think through their risks as they go on and all the dimensions that investors and partners and customers are looking at. So this one is maybe a really good one to Google as well if you're not familiar, ARL assessment by the DOE. So once that's completed, the companies also get another $5,000. Okay, um, I will keep going unless anyone from my team wants to stop me at any point, feel free. But let's take a look at phase one and phase two, which were a little bit more moderate and intense in their intensities. So again, 7 to 12 hours per week and high touch learnings and support. What this looks like is that you have at least one stand-up or what we call all hands with the entire cohort. So we're not just doing this one-on-one with you, but you actually have the support and help with the cohort that you're with. I think this is really key because a lot of times founders feel alone. And even if you have a co-founder, it is so helpful to have a cohort to be with you to think through any issues that you have or help you build out your network, which leads to the second one. Within each of these titles, CEOs, CTOs, CXOs, you all will have your own roundtables so that you get to talk to each other about certain issues that you might have that would be helpful to get a second pair or, 9 other pairs of eyes on. And then within each week, we have 1 to 2 curriculum sessions. They're usually on Tuesday and Thursday with a speaker. Sometimes they might be asynchronous. You will see the schedule ahead of time, so you will have an idea of how to plan ahead. One-to-one coaching sessions with our team, including the managing director, our directors, and our EIRs. And then unlimited mentor meetings by you. As you meet your mentors and you get matched with mentors, you can decide how many you want. And we will guide you through that process and give you some thoughts on best practices. But again, our goal here is to open up our network and our community to you. Now, phase three, average look at that, it's less than 7 to 12 hours, but we still keep the CEO roundtables for you just because this is something that actually lives on past what we do in the program. A lot of our teams continue on just having each other in their mastermind group as they think through things as their company grows. There are some curriculum sessions that are open to alumni usually, so you can continue kind of learning as we find new support that can be helpful for you. Now, one-to-one coaching sessions with V4C team will be at your discretion. Sometimes teams do it bi-weekly just to keep this cadence or as needed. It's not required, but it is option to you. And then again, continued investment support because once you finish demo day or showcase day, you will get a lot of interest. And so we will continue guiding you through that. I will now jump to a couple of alumni case studies, I guess we call it, in our past five cohorts, started with Holocene. Holocene developed a really cool DAC method that removes carbon from air using a novel proprietary chemistry. They've raised 6 million in non-dilutive grants, and we're part of Breakthrough Energy, Oak Ridge National Lab, and the DOE. They were able to build 1,000-ton per year pilot facility, and then they got a contract with Google for $10 million to offtake $100,000 tons of carbon, which then I think helped their acquisition last year to Occidental Petroleum. We have Mars Material. They are a company that converts CO2 and biomass into low carbon feedstock that helps with printing, 3D printing of filaments and carbon fibers. They've raised 750 in investment, so dilutive capital, but 5.1 million in non-dilutive funding. So you'll see that we do a lot in terms of the capital stack on dilutive and non-dilutive here. They were also a Breakthrough Energy Fellow. They opened their lab in Houston in 2024 and finished a vendor validation with a major customer that we cannot disclose at this point. But their goal is to store a gigaton of CO2 in everyday products. We've got Alobia. They are recently named Forbes 30 under 30. They've developed a low-cost flexible process to produce clean ammonia from clean hydrogen and air. They've now raised $12 million across two rounds and $700,000 on non-dilutive funding. They're working on a trial with Chevron Studios, and their goal here is to really lower ammonia emissions by 80 to 90%. And I think our last one here is one of our newest ones, cohort 5. Innovia Geo is electrifying and decarbonizing heating and cooling in buildings with ultra shallow depth geothermal systems, which normally need to be 850 feet deep, but they can do it in 15 to 100 feet deep. So really great innovation. They have a $1.3 million grant by NYSERDA, which again is our funder here, and a $450,000 Canadian grant. They are actually a Canadian company. They currently have installed 3 pilots, 2 in Buffalo, New York, and are finalizing a third pilot. And their system allows for this technology to be deployed as much as 50% less than traditional systems. So hopefully this gives you a good idea of, alumni and companies that we've taken through the program and their successes during and post-program. And happy to answer any questions here as we get along. Okay, now in the last part, on our cohort applications and timeline, this is a great table about everything that's going to happen. So I'll go through it line by line. We opened up applications last week. They are due on February 20th, that Friday. So please start early and get them in. We do early application reviews. So if you get yours in early, we start looking at it actually quite soon. And then we do a round of interviews there. And then when the final applications all come in, we do another set of applicant review and interviews at that point in time. So that will take about a little bit over a month. And then you will get notified if you're going to be invited to our boot camp on the 27th of March. The boot camp itself will be 4 days from the 6th to the 9th. It's about 4 to 5 hours each day in terms of commitment. Again, there's some slides about what this looks like so that you are apprised. And then if you move past this round, we will send you to our screening committee, which is with our board members, and you will get notified about that on April 10th. Screening committee will be across 2 days, but your commitment to that is only about, I believe, 15 to 20 minutes. So those are the 2 dates that we're running screening committee. And then you will get notified about being in the cohort on 420, and then we require that you respond to this invitation by the 27th. We do have a memorandum of understanding in your first ARL, which we will be happy to answer any questions, due on the 27th as well. And the program officially starts on May 11th, ending on the week of September 21st at the showcase. So the bootcamp itself is an intensive aimed at introducing teams to what we do, our ecosystem, and offering some fundamental building blocks to start that curriculum with you. So you'll hear from NYSERDA about their resources to our startups. You'll hear fireside chats from expert founders, experts in the field. We will support you in pitch deck preparation. We'll also teach you about impact metrics and communication of those metrics. We will run KPIs and OKRs for startup success, navigating funding sources, as well as hearing from our pro bono partners and their resources. There's a lot of free help in this space, so we try to gather all of them together and share them with you up front. The point of the boot camp, again, it's 4 to 5 hours a day, but what we do is we hope this time will, regardless if you make it to the program, provide value to you as a startup, connect you with other candidates and to our community, but also it's the chance for us to assess kind of coachability and fit. So we want to see how this group mends and gels together as part of a future cohort. So know that we are actually doing this for as part of the recruitment and selection process. Okay, just a few slides left. Applicants here, you have to have a technology that has that potential substantial reduction of GHG emissions. So really understanding what your GHG impact looks like is really important, and being able to back that up is also really important as part of the application process because we will do a little bit of fact checking and then also we'll be asking you about it during the interview process. So make sure that that's solid. A team that is coachable, driven, and self-aware, and having a market and impact in New York State, like we said earlier, or and a commitment to supporting and or benefiting New York's communities and larger climate tech ecosystem. This is quite broad, but again, as long as it's applicable to New York State, you should be good to go. If you're able to share any sort of impact on communities specifically in New York State, that's even better. Keys to a strong application. So please be specific when outlining your impact in your technology and the problem you're trying to solve. So feel free to give examples there. Hone in again on how this can be applied to New York State. Strong understanding of your market and your customers. If you have competitors, do share them. Everyone has competitors. It really helps validate the market and also tells us kind of how you think your technology or your solution is special compared to the landscape out there. And the last thing I know is cliche, but be yourself. Every experience is gained in a lot of different ways, and really care about who you are and why you're doing this. Okay, we've got a few things from our alumni who have talked about what we offer as part of our program and what they took away from it. It's bolded here. I might not go through it line by line, but you can see mentorship is quite often in here, helping with suggestions and coaching, as well as non-dilutive funding and really providing immediate impact. So that is our goal. We are here to help you succeed, and we hope that that emulates throughout the entire program and how we have structured everything here. So I will end here. This is our link to apply. We can throw it in the chat as well, but you can also scan this QR that goes exactly to the same F6S link. And again, applications close on the 20th, so get your apps in soon. I will now also invite our team here, Chris, Scott, and Devin, to get on video so you can see. I can stop sharing if that's helpful. And then if there are any questions that were in the Q&A that want to be brought up, I will ask the team to bring it up now.
Hey Dev, I know you had answered some questions in the Q&A. Do you think any of those you want to echo the Q&A out loud now?
Yeah, I can do that quickly. So we had one question about, are the market opportunity pitches virtual? They are. The only element of our program which is in person is our demo day in New York City for the New York City Climate Week in September. Second, we had a quick question about whether former Scale for Climate Tech participants are eligible for V4C. They are. And then we had a question about whether or not we prioritize hardware companies over software. I wouldn't say we prioritize them necessarily, but we are looking for people who are doing something novel and impactful. And when you are looking at that blend, there are a lot of software companies that are not necessarily having the same barriers to entry. But there are a lot of software companies that are a great fit for our model, and we have a number of alumni who are great in working in that space, and I gave a couple examples there.
Yeah, and on top of that, there's companies that have both components, hardware and software, right? And so if they help each other, it's definitely something we're looking at as well. Any other questions?
We had another open one, which we can answer live, which is can stealth startups apply? So I can take that, or you can take it, Jenny, whichever you
Yeah,
prefer.
feel free to start.
Great. So stealth startups can definitely apply. A number of our startups come in stealth mode, and some of them kind of finish in partial stealth mode still. But the key is that you need to be able to give us enough information for us to assess what it is you're working on and how meaningful your solution to the problem is. If you can do that, you are perfectly fine to apply. But we can't just say, black box, you are solving this problem, but we have no idea how.
Mhm. Maybe it's a question for Chris from our marketing team, but at the end of the program, when we do showcase and you're going to be on stage,
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
there a
it's
requirement then to be unstealth at that point?
I would say it's hard to to stay on stealth. And there's like 200 investors in the room, and we do want to include you as much as we can. We have worked with folks in the past by leaving them out of the deal book, but I think it hurts more than helps to be in stealth at that point. At least in the past, we've done a couple of our major showcases. I think was it just one company one time? I'm trying to think,
Yeah.
but
So we've had one company that opted not to pitch, another company that took very high level view and said, we're not going to go into any of the real details, but we're going to talk about the problem and what we need. So we can talk to people about what we're working on at a high level and we can make connections out of it. But there's a lot we're not going to disclose here, which is perfectly fine.
yeah. But willing to work with however and whoever. So we do our best.
Well, with that, then we will thank you for your time and hope to see your application soon.
Thanks, everyone.